Welcome to the Inflow podcast. I am your host, Michelle Bosch. I see a gaping hole across society that focuses on the outer work and forgets about the inner work, when what we really need is to bridge the gap between prosperity and spirituality to live a life in flow, with inflows of light, inflows of cash, inflows of creativity, inflows of grace in our lives. Each week, join me for powerful messages and interviews that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow in your higher work. So now, let's go. Welcome to the Inflow podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. Super excited to be coming to you guys with another episode of Inflow. Today, I wanted to get us again into that mindset of preparation for the year to come. Most people are so involved with Christmas shopping and the holidays that, they use, in my opinion, the two most important months, November and December. They miss using those months to really create incredible momentum and really start getting a head start, in whatever their goals might be for the following year. So I don't want you to fall into that trap. I would love for, if you are listening to this today or watching this today, that you are basically not picking the ball on January 1st when everyone else is trying to pick up the ball, but that you are basically yards already into the field, into the playing field or into the game, and ahead of the curve. So with that, I want to talk about 3 ways that you can prepare to thrive in real estate in 2021. And the very first way, I think, that is super important that a lot of investors, a lot of entrepreneurs miss is their dedication and devotion or focus to one thing, to one strategy that is simple, that is scalable, and that it is strategic, Because why reinvent the wheel when we know exactly what works? Like, for example, for myself, for Jack, I know for many of our coaches in our Land Profit Generator community, if we had to start again, we would start, hands down with land. And we would start, of course, not at the same level that we started as a beginner. We would start probably at a much higher level when it comes to the level of, size of deals and volume of deals for sure. But it is one of the most simple strategies that creates the highest returns by far in the real estate industry. For anyone that wants to become a full-time real estate investor, this is the way to get basically money in your bank account in 8 to 12 weeks, depending, of course, on your experience and on your speed of execution and so on and so forth. But, if you are not ready to commit and you're just exploring, I get that, it's important to see what your options are out there. But my biggest advice to you will be to, once you find the one thing, to go ahead and focus and decide to go deep and to master it. Otherwise you're just occupying, in my opinion, unnecessary energy, unnecessary space, at live events or at seminars or at, whatever groups you belong to. You're really occupying space because you are not clear on what you're going to focus on and what you're going to pour all your heart, your energy, your purpose, your power into. Not having a clear one, strategy that you're going to focus on means that all of your efforts are going to be diluted, and you're just going to be in busy movement. And who wants busy movement? So stop the busy movement and find the one thing, whether that be land flipping. For us, that's what we do. For you, if you're listening to this and you've been exploring land flipping and you've seen the checks, you've seen the results, go ahead and decide that you're going to focus, that you're going to give it your all, that you're going to be all in. You'd be surprised by how the universe conspires in your favor that moment that you decide to commit to one thing. So that would be the number one, way to prepare. The second way that I would say that you want to prepare is to choose faith over fear in your planning for 2021. And just go for big goals, go for big goals. If you want to start doing, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 deals, go for that. I know for sure that those kinds of deals are possible in the land space, and that I would absolutely under no circumstance, try to go and produce such a payday using, for example, fix and flip, because fix and flip requires that I have to deal with all the headaches and hassles of having to, have expensive repairs to roofs, to foundations, that I'm going to have to deal with contractors that are flaky, that don't show up, that, overprice things, that don't get there on time, that do not deliver whatever they said that they're going to deliver on time and at the highest quality. It means that I'm not going to have to deal with inspections. It means that I'm not going to have to deal with bank loans or with holding costs, from a hard money lender that is helping me get through the rehab and that is cutting into my profits. None of that exists in land. You don't have to deal with any of that. So choose to go, and like I said, have faith over fear in perhaps something that doesn't seem as normal, let's put it that way, in the real estate space, because land is in fact a gap in the real estate space that not so many people know about. Not many people know how to capitalize and how to leverage in a very, very big way, and be able, to produce, such high level splits or profits in their deals. So choose faith over fear. Choose to set for yourself, big goals that stretch you, that require that you put and that you set the bar high. Who wants to have goals where the bar is at the floor, at ground level? People that do that are people that want to feel good about themselves, about jumping over a bar or over a standard that was at the floor to begin with. If you're listening to this podcast or you're watching this, I know that that's not you, that's not how you operate. And that is because you choose faith over fear. The last year has been incredibly uncertain out there in the world. And with uncertainty comes quite a bit of fear. And even for, people inside of our community, I think at the beginning of March and April, they were concerned. And what they found is, a method, the land profit generator method, a method that no matter what is happening in the economy, was able to produce for them, 5-figure flips like clockwork and really create incredible income leaps. And when I mean incredible income leaps of 6 figures, in a matter of a quarter or two. So if you are right now feeling uncertainty, about what's to come, I'm here to say that some of that uncertainty and some of that fear will always probably be there for you. And that it won't completely go away unless you decide to master one thing, like I said earlier, and always constantly be stretching yourself and setting the bar high, and stretching to meet God halfway, in terms of the goals that you set for yourself by of course, choosing faith over fear. And I know that sounds like a quote or like a saying that has been overused, or a cute, statement on a mug or whatever. But really that is a key ingredient that is very little talked about, that requires that you learn to trust yourself, that you learn to, trust your capabilities, that you learn to trust your commitments, that you learn to trust that you will always, find the courage to go for big, scary, audacious things, and goals in your life, that, that you're gonna always go for calculated risk, and that, sometimes you may fall down, you make certain mistakes, but because that goal has been so high, when you fall forward, is what we, like to say with my husband, when we fall forward, we're going to fall forward, 10 steps ahead versus, having had, a tiny little step or a setback. If you fall and if you make mistakes, I think a lot of people are so scared to make mistakes, and, that they just don't go for big things, and they don't choose to live in faith, and rather, be overwhelmed by fear, because, they want everything to be perfect. And that's how we were conditioned. Many of us, I remember in school, I got a little star, if everything was perfect, and I didn't make any mistakes. And so many of us have been conditioned to okay, if I make a mistake, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be worthy. I'm not going to get my star. And so we want to, move away from that. Absolutely, completely, you will learn and you will reap big rewards regardless of mistakes and stumbles and challenges on the way. And yeah, so that's number 2. So also in this number 2, actually, before I, move on to the next one, I want to say that so many people inside our Land Profit Generator community really stepped up their game when it came to, in 2020, right now, a year of craziness, of pandemic, of an economic downturn. They were willing to, to really step into faith, and they have definitely been some of the most successful students, that have gone absolutely all in our coaching program, and that are now seeing, 50, 100, 144,000, 300, 400,000, leaps in 5 to 6 months. I am just astounded by, the level, the caliber of just the students that have been able to step into this state of faith versus fear, and really making, what we call creating your own economy and cash confidence a very real thing for them. So that's number 2. Number 3, I would say is that if you know that you are a person that has in the past, waited until January to start, creating momentum for you and for your family, I want you to make an effort and make a commitment to change that right now in 2020. The 2020 is still not done. There's still time, to set the pathway to get a head start for 2021. And one of the key things that we always do, Jack and I always do, to prepare ourselves, for the year prior, and those 2 months before Q4 of the year prior end, is to identify what is the support structure. And that support structure is usually people. It's who's that are going to come into our life or into our business, and that are basically they're going to be there to help us support implementation, to help us support action, to help us support execution in the year to come. You can't do everything on your own. That is something that usually a beginning entrepreneur falls trap to, which is thinking as a rugged individualist that nobody can do this better than I can, and that I can figure this out on my own, and that I am able to piece all this stuff together. And why reinvent the wheel when we know already what works? So on the context of that, I would like to, extend an invitation to join us right now on December 8th. We have a live class, a series of live sessions that start on December 8th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time inside of our Land Profit Generator Facebook group, which is a free community, but you'll have to register for this class. You can register at landflippingclass.com. And the first live session starts on Tuesday, December 8th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're also having a second session on Wednesday with a panel of coaches. And it's really about getting masters, land masters, the top 1% in our space to come and help you engineer that next level of success and growth for 2021 and help you really figure out what exactly you need to do depending on what stage of the land business you're in or what stage of investing you're in to help you figure out what are the steps that you're going to have to take in order to close more land deals or focus on the one strategy that is going to bring you closer towards your goals, that is going to basically bridge the gap in income where you are right now and where you want to be. And so, yeah, it's about, this last step is about really leveraging other people's capabilities, strengths, skills, tools, strategies, faith, confidence, and make that and kind of tap and have access to that level of mastery through others. So I would love, for you, if you're listening to this and you are strongly considering land or you're already in the land business and you're really wanting to bring this to the next level, to join us. Again, you can register at landflippingclass.com. And yeah, so those are the 3 steps that I, would suggest that you take in order to prepare to thrive in real estate in 2021, which again, as a summary, is focus on the one thing that's going to bring you, closer, ideally something simple, scalable, and that is strategic in terms of using of your limited time and resources. We want to make the most out of the time and money that we spend into marketing. And so one strategy, and go deep, all in with that strategy by choosing faith over fear and identifying the who's that are going to help you get there, whether it mean mentors, whether it mean team that you're going to bring on board, whether that means, consultant, whether that means, changes even, within your circle of influence of the people that are around you. You are the average of the 5 people that are around you. So whose are a key ingredient in helping you implement, execute, take action that is purposeful, that is not busy movement, in bringing you forward, in your goals for 2021. I also would love to extend an invitation to write a written review. I am actually going to be teaching a session, a yearly planning session inside of our community, but that will only be extended to a few, a small group, a small intimate group. If you would like to be part of that intimate group, I invite you to go ahead and leave a written review and send me a screenshot of your written review. And you can send me a screenshot by just sending me a direct message over Facebook or on Instagram, whatever of those 2 platforms. On Facebook, you can find me at Michelle Bosch. And on Instagram, you can find me at Michelle Bosch Official. And if you send me a screenshot of your written review of the Inflow podcast, you are going to be one of those people that are going to be able to, I believe, on December 14th, attend a strategic yearly planning session with me. You will probably also be the recipient of our Land Profit Generator planner, which just came out. I'm super excited about that. And so if you write a written review for the Inflow podcast on iTunes or wherever you are listening to, podcasts, I will, and you send me a screenshot using direct message, I will make sure that you are included in that, yearly planning session that myself and my husband will be delivering on December 14th. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to spending time with you on the next episode of the Inflow Podcast. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.